Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving into a seriously powerful piece of literature. It beautifully captures this massive, deeply painful struggle happening all over the globe. You know, that intense tension between rapid modernization and ancient, deeply rooted tradition. We're going straight into a story that drops us right in the middle of a family completely torn apart by these two forces. We're going to unpack the dialogue, the heavy metaphors, and those intense social pressures shaping these characters' lives. We start things off with this dramatic warning. Those who leave footprints in the sand cannot expect followers. A grandmother says this directly to a mother, and man, it instantly pulls us into this profound conflict over the sheer danger of breaking with the past. Just picture the imagery here. Footprints in the sand, they're totally temporary, right? Easily washed away by the tide or just blown away by the wind. By using this metaphor, the grandmother is basically saying that stepping away from the permanent, established path of their ancestors to forge some new, individual trail, well, it's not just foolish, it's isolating. It perfectly sets the stage for the ideological battle we're about to explore. Part 1. The Clash of Two Worlds, Tradition versus Modernity. Let's establish the battleground between these two powerful women over the future of one young girl.
So let's look at this comparison, because it really is the absolute core of the whole story. This conflict is perfectly embodied in two totally opposite worldviews. On one side, we have Nabou. She fiercely advocates for formal schooling, what the text calls see school, and learning new ways. She is absolutely willing to be the one leaving those footprints in the sand, seeking progress and individual advancement for her daughter. But on the flip side, you have Baramusu, the grandmother. She fiercely defends communal integration, duty, and traditional initiation. She actually counters that sand metaphor with one of her own. A wise woman walks through the high grass, where the elephant has already trod. Basically, stick to the proven path so you don't get lost, or, as she puts it, soaked with the dew of trouble.
And this philosophical debate, it gets deeply personal very fast. Nabou explicitly challenges the cultural practice of cutting. She brings up the tragic fate of someone named Dimasu as her main reason for demanding change. Nabou flat out says, yes, that the path we follow in cutting is wrong, that we must do things differently. For Nabou, the traditional path isn't just, outdated. It carries a very real physical danger that she absolutely refuses to subject her daughter to. But for Baramusu, discarding this initiation is literally discarding who they are.
Part 2. The Price of Belonging, Finaba's Dilemma. Now we shift our focus to the young girl caught squarely in the middle of these opposing forces.
Now she will not belong, will not be able to dance and sing with the other initiates. This quote perfectly captures Finaba's devastating internal conflict. While the adults are debating these high-level concepts of progress and tradition, Finaba is dealing with the immediate, crushing reality of her social standing. She is overwhelmed by the fear of becoming a total outcast in her own village. Because let's face it, for a young person, the theoretical benefits of cycle pale in comparison to the agonizing prospect of being completely left behind by your peers. If she defies tradition to follow her modern path, Finaba faces this severe cascade of social rejection. It's like an incredibly profound, devastating form of social FOMO. She won't belong, she won't be able to dance or sing with the initiates, and that's the joyful, celebratory part of her culture. She fears her age mates will literally never trust her, leaving her as this perpetual outsider. And ultimately, she fears no man will ever want to marry her. In a society entirely built on communal ties, these aren't just minor inconveniences. They represent a complete erasure of her future and her identity.
Part 3. The Storyteller's Destiny. Empowering Finaba. So, how does the grandmother pull Finaba back toward the traditional path? She uses a brilliant, highly effective psychological strategy, empowering her through cultural heritage.
The crucial thing to understand here is that Baramusu doesn't just scold Finaba. Actually, she elevates her. She assigns her this deeply revered title of Yelaba. Now, a Yelaba isn't just anyone, it's a storyteller, a leader specifically chosen by the ancestors to guide the people when they've strayed from the path. By giving her this title, Baramusu hands Finaba a profound sense of duty, purpose, and real importance within the traditional hierarchy. She's giving her a reason to stay that feels so much larger than herself. And this pivotal moment takes place under the ancient baobab tree. Now, the baobab is a massive, universal symbol of life, roots, and endurance in the African landscape. Right here, Baramusu explicitly rejects the white man's stories taught in the mother's sikul. Instead, she urges Finaba to embrace the deep ancestral stories that, as she says, make us women. It's a total reframing of the narrative. Initiation isn't just something happening to Finaba anymore, it's a sacred duty she is inherently destined to fulfill.
Part 4. The bird-scaring rope, a metaphor for community. This brings us to the absolute core metaphor of the text. A really elegant analogy used by Baramusu to explain communal interdependence.
This brilliantly illustrates the traditional worldview. Baramusu asks Finaba about the ropes tied over the rice farm, breaking down the logic of this bird-scaring rope step by step. Big ropes are tied to little ones. When you pull them, they all work together to create a loud noise that scares away the birds trying to eat the crops. Baramusu explains that life is exactly like this. Every single individual, big or small, is connected. People have to work together to protect the community from outside threats. And the golden rule from all this? Never cut the rope. Cutting yourself off from the group jeopardizes the survival of absolutely everyone.
Then Baramusu drives the point home with this incredibly striking assertion: alone you are just an animal, so do not cut the rope. I mean, just think about the weight of those words. This is Baramusu's ultimate warning against the kind of individualism that Nabou's modern path represents. To the grandmother, separation from the community isn't just a different lifestyle choice, it is a fundamental loss of humanity itself. To be human is to be connected.
Part 5. Journey to the Unknown, the Fafel Initiation. We finally reach the climax of the narrative, where the ideological debate transforms into irreversible physical action.
So the grandmother makes her move. Taking advantage of the mother's absence, Nabou has traveled out of the village. Baramusu secretly leads a very willing, excited Finaba right into the edgy, early morning forest. Their destination? The Fafel. The Fafel is the initiation house, and it's intentionally hidden deep within the forest, far away from the eyes of men and children. It's this highly sacred, mysterious space where girls are taken to undergo the rites of becoming a woman.
The ritual begins. Baramusu anoints Finaba, rubbing white kaolin all over her face and body. She explains to the young girl that, much like life itself, initiation is a journey completely into the unknown. Out here, in the deep woods, Finaba has to come face to face with the forest, the ordeal of the initiation, and most importantly, with herself. It really shows us that the traditional path isn't devoid of deep introspection. Rather, it uses this massive collective trial to actually force that introspection.
As the anointing wraps up, Baramusu delivers this absolutely chilling, powerful line. Soon you will die, and a woman will be born. This signifies the metaphorical death of Finaba's childhood. It frames the impending initiation, which, by the way, Finaba knows is going to involve real physical pain, as a necessary, albeit terrifying, rebirth. It is the uncompromising toll required to secure her place and her identity within the village. The child has to end so the connected communal woman can begin.
We leave Finaba walking into the forest, smiling, but the text makes a point to note that it's a smile frayed by apprehension. She knows the process will be painful. She remembers the tragic story of Nabou. Yet, she accepts it, because to her, the sheer terror of isolation is far worse than the pain of the ritual. It's the price of her identity. And as we wrap up this explainer, looking at this incredibly intricate web of family, tradition, and progress, it leaves us with a deeply universal question to ponder. What price are we willing to pay to ensure we belong? Thank you so much for walking through this incredible source material with me.